What's up, everybody? Ben Rasa and Matt Gajewski here for Odd Shopper, and we are back with the rarest of the rare, Week 18. Never said that before, but you know what? The final week of the NFL season is upon us. But before we dive into that, Matt, we've got to close out Week 17. And unfortunately for this game, it's lost some of its luster. It's a great rivalry, Steelers, Browns. But as we were talking before the show, Cleveland, motivation could be an issue tonight on Monday Night Football.
Yep, they've been eliminated from the playoffs officially. Pittsburgh is just holding on by a thread right now. They need to win both their games, and they need some help to get into the playoffs. So motivation is still there. They're also playing for Ben Roethlisberger, who's going to be in his last home game at Heinz Field tonight. So there is motivation for Pittsburgh, but I think both these teams should be starting to take a look at some of the talent they have on their roster as they close out the year. Maybe make some tough decisions moving forward.
Absolutely. There are narratives on narratives in this game with Big Ben's probably his last game at Heinz Field. Look like this is, you said before the show, the Kobe Bryant game from him. Maybe we'll see some of that. But obviously, I think the big news in the spread has reflected this. The Browns have nothing to play for, and clearly they have soured the books on them. They have moved, and Pittsburgh is taking all the money. I do want to say before we dive in, because what we're going to do today, we're going same game parlay. We've had some success with these. We've been building them. All the books are offering them. Really fun, really good opportunities with Odd Shopper and the tools. But if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Glad to have you. Hit that like button and subscribe if you want more videos like this, not just in the NFL, but for college football, college basketball, NBA, NHL, all the sports, and PGA is starting this week. I cannot wait. But Matt, let's dive in. We have built a same game parlay, and we're sticking to our formula here. We've been doing these 3-pick same game parlays. We've got one that pays just north of 4-1. Let's break it down leg by leg. First leg, under 42.5 total points. It's pretty easy sell for me of why this game could be pretty ugly, but what do you think about that first pick?
I love it. First one, motivation. It's going to be a key here. Two quarterbacks that have struggled, some teams that like to run the ball, particularly Cleveland when they get ahead. Neither team particularly fast. And then you have some pretty decent edges on defense for both sides of the ball. I think having two key pass rushes and two non-mobile quarterbacks could lead to some inefficient drives, take some sacks here and there. That's going to be really detrimental for both these teams. So going under, I think, makes a lot of sense here, especially considering it's a cold weather game. It's a divisional game, the second time these teams have faced each other. And we know historically those tend to be lower scoring between the divisional teams when they match up twice a year.
Well said. I think this is a pretty easy. The first game, and I remember it well, was 15-10. Pittsburgh won. They tried a fake field goal in the middle of that game, and they got Boswell killed, and they had to play without a kicker for the end of the game, but they still were able to knock Cleveland off on the road there. I think we could see a similar type game where, mid-30s ultimately for total points is where we fall. So getting under 42.5, that's just where I lean for the game. Now we go to the correlation side of things. So we're getting things started with Ben Roethlisberger passing completions. We have it 20 plus. This is where the sliders come into play. You're able to kind of finagle some of these lines. This is a line that I think is pretty reasonable. The books have it at 22.5, and we have it going slightly over. But if you're going to tell me he only has to throw 20 or more, now I think we've created some value, and I feel comfortable with that tonight.
For sure. I don't think they're going to take the foot off the gas. Again, Pittsburgh, outside chance of getting into the postseason here. Roethlisberger's last game, you don't want to just embarrass him and run the ball 60 times in the guy's final game after a storied career with this program. So I think Roethlisberger is going to more or less have his normal attempts here. And then you have a situation where the better matchup for Pittsburgh is coming through the air. We have 3 starters out of this game for Cleveland in the secondary. Obviously, that should boost Pittsburgh's passing attack. And then overall, if they can stop the pass rush, which is a big if. Stopping Myles Garrett is no easy task. Ben Roethlisberger already throws the ball short a lot. And if the pass rush is an issue, that could be a game plan they look to today rather than have Roethlisberger doing these long dropbacks, attacking downfield. I think we do see a lot of short plays as sort of an extension of the run game, and that could help just this completion prop too, and why I prefer it over like yardage or something like that.
We've seen that for a couple of years now with Big Ben. He has the fastest release time in terms of drop back. He avoids a lot of damage and sacks like that. He gets the ball out quickly. What does it do? Well, obviously it lowers the ADOT on some of these guys, but it's great for a passing completions prop because he can rack up he could have a drive where he has 7-8 completions easily, and it doesn't even mean that they score. And that is so lucrative for something like this. We rounded out to get us to plus 425 with Chase Claypool over 34.5 receiving yards. Again, we were able to work the sliders here. We got a very reasonable number, one that you're not going to find. Most of it is hovering around 40 out there. Claypool's cleared this number in 5 of 6 games. It could only take one catch with a guy like this. Pairing him with Big Ben makes a lot of sense to me.
Yep, I agree 100%. This coincides right with Big Ben's prop. Claypool's a guy that was kind of in the doghouse a little bit 2 weeks ago. We all know the debacle with Claypool celebrating towards the end of the previous game. But last week, we got some positive signals. He came back on the field, was an every down player, 82% of the snaps, 6 targets, trailing only Ray McLeod and Deontay Johnson, which is positive for his role moving forward. I still think Claypool very involved in this offense, and as long as he's not in the doghouse, you should see him projected a little closer to Johnson. Johnson, his props are up in the 70s. Claypool's in the high 30s, low 40s. It's just too wide of a gap for a target share that's relatively spread in this offense.
Agree. Again, I think that Claypool's a guy. We know he's got the talent. He makes a great pairing here, and that's the benefit of the same game parlay. So just to recap it, it's on the screen right now, but under 42.5 total points in this one feel good. And then we've got the Pittsburgh connection through the air. We've got Big Ben, 20 or more passing completions, over 34.5 receiving yards for Chase Claypool. If we hit that, we get paid north of 4-1. That is the beauties of these. Week 17 in the books. There you have it. Obviously, stay tuned. We'll be back for Week 18 breakdowns and certainly for the NFL playoffs going forward. For me, for Matt, for everyone here at Odd Shopper, thanks again for liking and subscribing on your way out. Good luck. Enjoy the game tonight, and we'll talk to you guys soon.